Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. A Tobagonian living in Florida received U.S. President's Lifetime Achievement Award. This story takes the lead in today's edition of Caribbean Perspective for Wednesday, 14th December 2022. Details when we return.
Win prizes weekly with the Dutch Lady Christmas promotion. You can win hampers, kitchen appliances, and much more. Here's how to win. Visit our Facebook and Instagram pages weekly to retrieve the recipe. Follow the recipe. Submit the final dish via email at dlchristmaspromotion@gmail.com, along with proof of purchase of Dutch Lady UHT or 410 evaporated milk. Recipes will be judged based on the display. Winners will be selected each week to battle for the grand prize in a live cooking show hosted by the creative chef. Look out for the Dutch Lady Santa Claus at supermarkets island-wide. The promotion runs from November 16th to December 21st, 2022. And once again, we'd like to congratulate the winner of last year's Dutch Lady Christmas promotion, Miss Brianna Bihari. Dutch Lady Milk, proudly distributed by Hubbard's Agency.
Welcome back. Nurse Charlene Waldron Kinloch was recently bestowed the President's Lifetime Achievement Award from the President of the United States, Joe Biden, in recognition of her 5,000 hours of service in ministry to the United States. The award was given through the Battered, Bruised, and Broken Community Outreach Ministry. Nurse Charlene Waldron Kinloch, originally from Wynn, Tobago, made her home in the United States. She spoke with TV6's Elizabeth Williams.
Mrs. Waldron Kinloch, who lives in Florida, said she received the President's Lifetime Achievement Award for her service in ministry for the past 20 years. She is also a nurse at HCA Ponciana Medical Hospital in Kissimmee, Florida. The mother of two left Tobago in 2003, has been impacting her community and empowering others in her faith. She also holds a bachelor's degree in theology.
I later on obtained an honorary doctoral degree in divinity. This did not went without being noticed among my peers, and I was later nominated to receive the most prestigious of them all, my Lifetime Presidential Award.
Originally from Wynn, Tobago, Nurse Waldron Kinloch said the moment of her receiving the President's Lifetime Achievement Award remains a proud one. In President Biden's letter to her, he stated, "By sharing your time and passion, you are helping discover and deliver solutions to the challenges we face, solutions that we need now more than ever. We are living in a moment that calls for hope and life and love."
After receiving such an award, it was a proud moment. It was me standing in what is seen to be history making for me and my family. I am happy to say that I stood there as a proud Trinidad and Tobagonian.
She told TV6 News success is limited to no one, as all can succeed.
I'm saying to the young people and those older ones at large, we are not defined by where we came from, but where we are going makes the difference.
Elizabeth Williams, TV6 News.
The resignation of Chief Secretary Farley Augustine and members of his administration from the PDP came as a shock to the party. This from Chairman of the PDP, Dr. Sean Ned, during a media conference on Monday. Elizabeth Williams, again of TV6 News, has more.
These resignations, particularly in their timing, came as a shock to the executive of the party. No indication was given to the executive regarding the intent to leave the PDP, with no opportunity for discussion.
Dr. Ned said he believes the resignations were aimed at dismantling the PDP, but this would not happen as the PDP remains resilient. He then made this revelation.
In an executive meeting following the loss in the general elections in 2020, Mr. Augustine gave an ultimatum to the executive that either he leaves the party or Mr. Duke leaves the PDP. A vote was done in the NEC, the National Executive, which rejected this approach.
Dr. Ned also said that Mr. Augustine's actions further affected the administration of the party.
Mr. Augustine purposefully left out non-candidate members of the National Executive, including the chairman, from attending any and all strategy committee meetings. As such, Mr. Augustine has not properly liaised with the PDP chairman on matters regarding administration of the party.
Dr. Ned said the chief secretary and his team are yet to properly account for the PDP's finances under the last two elections.
Mr. Augustine and the other independents have not accounted to the National Executive Council on any finances received on behalf of the party and are again called upon to do so.
He says the PDP's next step is to report back to the people and hold a membership meeting soon.
The executive of the party will be reintroduced to the public. The party will be re-enacting proper membership in good standing practices. The party will also hold a membership meeting soon in order to speak with our members in good standing.
Elizabeth Williams, TV6 News.
Opposition senators in St. Lucia propose crime-fighting measures. More in this HTS News Force report with Gina Filippi.
An increase in boots on the ground is one of the suggestions by the opposition United Workers' Party to help curb the rising crime rate. Officials are worried that the country is receiving a bad rap following the shooting death of a British national and the wounding of another expat who have been citizens of St. Lucia for many years. Opposition Senator Harold Stanislas, speaking to reporters outside Parliament on Thursday, stated that the government needs to hire more police officers.
This goes to show you that no community in St. Lucia is immune to the violence which is taking place right now. And I believe that it is time that the government step up. It's time for action. Enough of the talking, enough of passing the buck, enough of blaming, enough of excuses. We need to see tough action on gun control and crime in this country. We need to see more policemen and women on the streets of St. Lucia. I was told that there is a freeze on hiring of policemen. Government needs to review that policy. We need to hire more policemen. We need to build up the capacity of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force.
Meanwhile, leader of opposition business in the Senate, Dominic Fede, says that the authorities must get to the root cause of crime.
It was a mistake that the government would have removed the canine dogs. That's a bad mistake. They certainly have to work a lot closer with the police and stop blaming the police. I think as well that we need to have a holistic approach to this to beef up the economic situation in the country. We're seeing that a lot of the people who are participating in the crime situation happen to be mostly young men. And we have to ask ourselves, why is this? Is it a lack of economic opportunity? Is it a lack of self-esteem? What are the gangs offering that as a country and as a society holistically that we're not offering?
Fede added that the Philip J. Pierre-led administration must be more proactive to bring the crime situation under control.
The government has failed to protect us from this prevailing crime situation, which really undermines our ability to be safe, undermines our businesses, undermines our tourism sector. I mean, right now as we speak, we are being pummeled in the UK press. We're being battered everywhere in the UK press because of this government's inability to act, because this government has not been proactive. It did not have to get as far as this. The opposition has been emphasizing for quite some time that the government had to be a lot more proactive, that the government had to show an urgency of now, that the government had to get on top of this situation.
As of Thursday, December 8th, 2022, St. Lucia's homicide toll stood at 69. Law enforcement and the authorities continue to grapple with the violent crime wave as they formulate strategies to minimize criminal activities. Gina Filippi, HTS News Force.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
$100 million Jamaican dollars allocated for young tourism innovators. Javon Keys of TVJ Business reports.
The Tourism Ministry has announced a $100 million facility for young inventors and innovators who have passed through the Tourism Innovation Incubator. Funding is being disbursed by the Exim Bank. Now, the incubator managed by the Tourism Enhancement Fund, TEF, will see entrepreneurs trained to build out businesses. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says in addition to the incubator, more economic development is needed, especially for youth.
And we put 40 million Jamaican dollars against that as a means of beginning to mine ideas, to find young people across Jamaica who have no collateral, whose parents are not necessarily wealthy and able to support the generation of new thinking, and to await the conversion of those ideas into material things that have a value and a price.
Mr. Bartlett says ideas and innovation are the way forward for continuing economic growth and development in a post-pandemic era. The Tourism Innovation Challenge through the Tourism Innovations Incubator was launched on November 30. Now, a number of entrepreneurs were selected for the initiative. 13 proposals were selected for funding.
The violence in West Kingston has reached a disturbing level as a politician has been targeted by gunmen. More in this TVJ News item with Kirk Wright.
The councillor, who says he's shaken by the ordeal, says he, along with other persons, were standing at the corner of Tulip and Chestnut Lanes discussing community business when he was fired at. He says a single bullet pierced his motor vehicle to the area where he would usually sit. The police have confirmed the incident.
We have been carrying out investigation, and at this time we have identified a main suspect in this matter, and that main suspect goes by the alias Beanie Man. His correct name is Romario Brown, and we are urging him to come in to us as he's wanted in connection with this particular shooting.
The police say they have information that Mr. Hart is being targeted.
We have been receiving reports of alleged threats on the life of this particular councillor. Suffice it to say that we did take some action and assign him a close protection officer.
The police say members of the security forces who were nearby engaged the gunmen in a shootout, but no one was reportedly hurt. In the meantime, Mr. Hart says he stands resolute and that the incident will not deter him from entering the community to conduct the people's business. Kirk Wright, TVJ News.
2 security guards have been killed and a third went missing after a shooting incident at the China Harbour Engineering Company complex at Plantation Heights. Well, reports are that the third has been finally located. O'Shane Masters of TVJ News has more.
Now, the security guard turned himself in to the police and is being interviewed by officers attached to the Major Investigation Division. Now, head of operations for the St. Andrew South Police, Deputy Superintendent Coolidge Minto, says he is in good physical condition.
You can imagine, not only him, but even some of the other officers who turned up at the location, fellow co-workers, very traumatized. Many of them have express not only shock but grief, and no doubt will need some amount of counseling. He was in also a state of trauma and very shocked and also, very concerned. But again, happy he's alive. He's still able to give an account, and that is being done at the moment.
Now, the bodies of 2 of his colleagues were found on the compound shortly before midnight.
One of the bodies was found in the trunk of a Nissan motor car. The other body was found in some bushes some distance away.
Now, they have been identified as Lincoln Royal and Brandon Small.
The Food Fair Shop and Win promotion is back, better than ever. We are giving away $30,000 in prizes with promotional activities you know and love, like find the misplaced items, spin the wheel, and other exciting in-store activities. You can win hams, turkeys, vouchers, cooking gas from Sol, and lunch packages from the Creative Chef. The promotion runs from November 16th to December 23rd, 2022. Food Fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets.
am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.